Fuck, what's the intro?
You never
We're not
remember?
pissed at One Piece. We're not. Fuck. What are we? We're not pissed.
We're not pissed at One
you?
Piece. We're pissed at you. Yeah, that's not hard, Jack. I can't believe you can't.
I am.
We've been
This is-
recording. We've been recording this for like over a year.
What do you mean recording? You're acting like that is. It is a consistent.
We've been doing this podcast for over 2 years, close to it. We're getting
No
there.
way.
We're getting
How
close
many
to it. I
episodes
think
in
it's
2
probably
years?
been 2 years.
That's crazy.
Like 8.
It's been like over. It's been like a year and a half for sure.
It's
and we
been
have,
another
like,
4 months.
What is this, like episode 7?
I don't know, but it's
been
been
4
another
months.
4. It's been like
Jesus.
about 4 months.
Dude.
We're nothing if not consistent, Jack.
It's crazy that like One Piece was bigger than ever, and we didn't make a podcast about it. Like,
Hey, you know,
it was
that's okay.
mostly my fault, I would say. It was. I would definitely. We were definitely supposed to record it before, but
Yeah, you know,
the One
it
Piece
got
live
away
action,
from us.
it ruined my life.
It ruined your life, sure.
It ruined my life. It like got so many people into this series, so positive. All these 40-year-old white women love the series now.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say that like I'm not pissed today because we're in a great place. One Piece is great.
One Piece
the
is
manga
peak. The
is
manga.
great. The anime is great. The live action didn't go to shit.
Shut up.
Not even like
Yes. It did.
Come on, Jack. It didn't go to shit. It
Yes,
was
it
critically
did.
and audience like through the roof approval.
I'm so glad that people.
It went shit. It's your L for not
It's-
liking it.
Shaves. You're acting like I didn't try and like it, bro.
I
I watched this. I watched it twice. I hated it.
fair enough.
I spent 16 hours of my life watching
Hey,
this.
fair
thing.
enough. Hey, that's
And
cool. Mad respect.
and it's like on the second watch, I could definitely like appreciate more things about it.
Yeah, you could
I
you could
think.
decompress because it's
I
just
could-
like, what do you mean? What do you mean you cut the Usopp pirates? What do you mean you cut out most of Verity?
What do you mean you ruined the characterization of most of the characters?
Oh God, I don't think they ruined Usopp. I mean, not Usopp. Of course they ruined Usopp. No, I don't think they ruined Zoro.
I don't think they. I don't know. Like
Anyway,
I don't hate Zoro,
Sure. Yeah.
but like
It wasn't perfect.
it's definitely.
the manga and
I
anime
feel
are
like
both better.
later on in the season it gets
Mhm.
better, but I feel like the first like 5 episodes of Zoro, he really, I don't like the characterization they give him, and then it's just like I feel like it catches a stride later on. Like I feel like they figured out how to make it work a little bit better, but I don't know. I don't know. Nami and Luffy, I think, are not good, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But I would like to give the people, I guess, some backstory. Like shit, like I was
Yeah.
writing a long like a video, kind of shitting on the One Piece live action.
Yeah.
And I like rewrote this shit like a million times before even, and then I was like, oh my god, I was going through an existential crisis. I was like, I sent the script to Shaves, and I'm like, Shaves, tear this shit apart.
Yeah.
And he like wrote like a fucking dissertation, like a
Like,
Harvard dissertation.
it was like as long as the script you
It was
sent
as
me.
long as the script. It was like he was like point by point like deconstructing,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, okay, there was definitely a lot of things I improved like through that script,
Yeah.
but I think it kind of came down to like a fundamental disinterest of me wanting a One Piece live action like that.
Sure.
That's kind of where it came from, and like
Mhm.
I don't know if they could make something that appealed to me. I don't
Yeah.
think that's possible. So
No,
I was just
absolutely.
like, is it worth releasing this and getting shit on by every person? I don't know. It was
Like, come on, man. Yeah.
I might eventually make something of it.
Yeah,
but,
why not?
But
Yeah.
it was like that was like a month and a half of my life just like trying to figure out how to figure that shit out.
Articulate. Yeah. Figure.
It was
figure your,
fight my
yeah.
demons and shit. God, it
right.
was-
Fine.
It was something, but yeah, no, you
Yeah.
know, it's definitely competent in a lot of ways. I can understand that. It's better than Bebop, but
Right.
I
Which
don't
is
know.
not saying a lot. I got.
yeah,
You know.
as just the One Piece, as like a really diehard
Yeah.
One Piece fan, it just hit me. It was just like, it
Right.
was emotional. I don't know. It was like usually I could hate a show and just kind of
Yeah. Take a
make
dump.
fun of it
Yeah,
and then just like,
right.
move on.
It's
But
like
this-
it's like any shit. You just take it and then wipe your ass and move on.
Yeah, wipe my
Yeah.
ass. watch it on milk and then move
Right,
on.
right. Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like this one was I don't know. It hit closer.
It hit
It hit closer
different.
because it was so overwhelming, the praise. Like it was so Like
Right.
I felt like I was in a mental asylum. Like I was
Because it's so funny. I listened back to our previous pod, the one right before because the last one we recorded, it hadn't come out yet. It was coming out like that week or next week.
yeah.
I said it though, like it's like you're taking crazy pills.
Yes.
And then the show comes out, and it's even worse.
It was
It's
even
like,
worse.
Oh, I'm actually taking crazy. Who is feeding me these? Like, can someone please? Like, am I missing something?
Where is humanity?
What the hell?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It was. I was just more thrilled about the reception because I didn't expect it to be that positive.
It was so positive. It was.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, it was
I
a
don't-
freaking miracle.
I'm just like, why do people? What is this desire to have a One Piece live action? Like, it felt like,
Yeah.
like the response to it felt like finally, like
Oh,
someone did it good.
yeah,
Like,
which is
finally
shitty.
we got
Right.
a good anime
Ugh.
live action. Like,
Oh,
I'm like, do we need
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Do we like? Does that like? I don't know. Like,
No, for
wh-
sure.
what-
I get I get that
Yeah.
perspective for sure. I guess the why do we need the live action in particular? I don't fully get that either. I don't see the desire for it either because I'm such an anime guy. Like whatever. Like he's an anime guy. But like I think broadly, just seeing a new version of One Piece, whether it's a video game, a play, like why do we need a One Piece stage? Why do we need to see One Piece on ice? I don't know. It doesn't replace the manga or the anime. It can't. I can't. It's like I only experience One Piece through the ice show,
I'm
the
just-
ice skating show.
I just think in like the general zeitgeist it can. Like it's something like an example like Scott Pilgrim or something. Like
Yeah.
when people think of Scott Pilgrim, they think
Right.
of the movie, right? And
Mhm.
not the
Oh
comic.
yeah, not the
usually.
comic. They don't even probably. A lot of them don't even. know
No,
it's
most
based on a
people
comic.
don't know it is.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
obviously it's not a direct comparison.
No.
One Piece has been
Sure.
wildly popular for a long time. I just think in normal conversation, like you're talking to some fucking normal
Yeah.
people at your job,
Yeah.
and you're like, I checked out that pirate show. It was really interesting. I'm like,
Right.
I don't know. It's
weird.
yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people definitely like tried getting into the show and the manga from the live action. Like I've talked to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That literally
That
that's
found
literally
it, like
happened to.
that found it through the live action. And now they're in
Yeah.
the yeah.
Which is weird to me because I'm like, that shit sucks. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why would you
Right.
want to check something else more over that? I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's I find the characters so drastically different between them that
Sure.
I'm like weird to jump
Have
in.
you? What would they say of like? Wow, the characters are so different. Did they? Even
Most
say
people
that?
just don't think about it. So
Did they like it more? Or they're just like, or did they fucking skip right to Logetown and then they didn't even experience the fucking thing? Like, great, I've watched the East Blue saga. Now I get to like, you gotta be kidding
I
me.
think most people are just jumping to manga. Like
Oh my god.
it's like yeah, it's like it's
I get
that-
it.
It's the
Yeah.
pacing, right? Like people can't.
Well, they see it like it is true that you can read 100 chapters faster than you can watch 100 episodes.
Yeah.
It's true. I get it. But like, I don't want to read it that fast. I hate that people read it that fast.
Yeah.
Because
me too.
you just go for panel like, oh, he beats
The
Buggy.
impact. The
You
impact
know what I
isn't
mean?
there. The
It's like,
impact
oh
isn't
yeah,
there.
okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's like whenever during the pandemic when a bunch of my friends got into One Piece and they were reading it, they were just like
Yeah.
blasting through. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a weekend, they're like, yeah, I'm at Alabasta. I'm like, bro, when I was watching
Dude.
this when I was like 13, it took me
Right.
like 3 months to get to Alabasta.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
back
yeah.
in my day, like
Sure.
type shit. I don't know. It's
And it really doesn't even take that long watching it, to be honest with you. Like, for someone who did watch it, like I got through East Blue in less than a month because I was watching
Yeah.
like at the pace of 3 episodes a day,
Mhm.
and then Alabasta was like maybe a month, maybe that, if that, right?
yeah.
But then fucking it wasn't even in the plan, but we ended up fucking binging Thriller Bark, which is like 80 episodes.
Yeah,
You know, in like a weekend or 3 days or something.
Which is hilarious because like Thriller Bark is more regarded as like one of the, I guess, weaker arcs. I guess a lot of people.
We
don't.
loved it. No, right?
I
but,
love
like,
Thriller
we
Bark
loved,
too.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of people, I think, rank it lower than like most of the other arcs.
Well, sure, because it's the follow-up to Water 7 and
Yeah,
Slowly.
yeah,
How do you
yeah.
follow that up? The way you follow that up is you already love the comedy and the characters
Yeah.
and the environments and situations. It's the same reason
Exactly.
people are mid on Skypiea. because they don't see it as like super progressive, like adding to the plot or something.
Yeah,
like,
Alabasta is like the build-up of like.
well, yeah, it's a whole saga
Yeah.
with Vivi, and they're going to different islands, and they get Chopper and Robin, and it's their
a lot
first
of
time
growth.
taking down a lore lord. It's like their first big adventure on the Grand Line.
Exactly.
And then Skypiea is so isolated, literally, because most people don't even think it exists in the story. So it's a totally side adventure of sorts. So people kind of like put it aside, be like, "Oh, that's cute" or whatever. Totally missing the fucking point.
Yeah, I feel like that specifically just like takes
Yeah.
like if you don't enjoy that, you're not in the ride. You're not
in the right headspace,
you're not in
and
the
you're
right
gonna be like,
headspace,
"It's a
yeah.
6. Yeah, One Piece is all right. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
sure,
But
sure."
I'm also thinking like if you got in from the live action, like I feel like it's easier for you to get into the anime because I think the live action is also similarly paced. Like I think it's
Interesting.
like similarly shittily paced to the to early One Piece at
fuck?
points.
It's different from both of them, from the manga
Oh,
and the
yeah.
anime,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's a
Well, 'cause
completely
they changed
different
them.
format.
Yeah,
Not
they
even
changed
just
different
being
things,
live
too.
action, it's the 8-hour-long episodes, and
Yeah.
having to like do Syrup in 2 and Bear TA in 1.5. Let's be honest, not even fucking 2.
Barely and
Like
they
like
gutted that
barely
shit.
any.
They gutted
Yeah,
that
like
shit.
they go to it right. And
the-
it is, yeah. Like I think it still functions as a way to get into One Piece, purely for the fact that it is as authentic as possible to what Oda was trying to do. You can disagree with that, but
Yeah,
it is.
It's to me, it's like getting.
It's not
into,
like trying to be something it's not.
I agree. It's just I just feel like it's like getting into One Piece from like Kendrick Lamar's verse on like Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. Like that's what that's what it feels like to me. It's like you're doing it wrong.
Sure,
You're
but
doing
like,
it wrong.
yes,
But-
you're right, but at the same time, whatever it takes. If that's how you learned who Kendrick Lamar was, and that got you to listen to Pimp a Butterfly or to Good Kid, Mad City,
Yeah.
and as long as you're into, as long as you don't have like the shit opinion of like, I prefer his work on Bad Blood, and like don't even fuck with his other albums. It's like, oh,
That's a
when
funny
it
person.
That's when it gets shitty.
That's a hilarious person.
No,
But-
right. That person probably exists, but they're in a
It's-
minority,
yeah,
thankfully.
I guess not to harp on it. Just like, I feel like the soundtrack of
Yeah.
the live action,
Yeah, I can't remember it.
it was so generically bad. It's so generic. And it's just like the One Piece anime OST
Like, bro,
is fucking
Yeah,
majestic. It
Yeah,
is
you can't. I'm
so
sorry.
good.
I felt so bad for those, like listening to it, and then I'm
So
like,
good.
man, I wish I could be listening to Overtaken right now.
No, it's so good. There's like
it's something.
I am
else.
like no, because I was watching specifically when I was making this video. I was watching like I rewatched Syrup Village and
Yeah.
Syrup Village in the live action, comparing
Wow,
them, just
wow.
like how they would use music to
Yeah.
like demonstrate the terror.
Right.
And they just literally copied like every horror soundtrack in the in the
Mm,
live action
yeah.
using these like the
Like temp
growing
music.
violin that like
Right.
there's such like an absence of music to demonstrate how spooky Kuro is and like how menacing of a figure he is in comparison. It's this over the top, and it's over the top in the wrong way.
Yeah, it's
in
so interesting
some
because it's like, you know, the process of making music at this point. I don't know, like not that I know, Shaba would know, but like
yeah.
a lot of it is like temp music, right? Like they're like, we want it to sound like this. We can't get this particular track, but make it sound like this,
Uh-huh.
right? Clearly they at least used We Are because it's a little thing that probably the executives were like, you should use this. We should get Toei to say yes to clear this and to do this,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But like, if they were able to get that, they should be able to get the music to everything. And not to say that they would, like, they should be able to orchestrate their own music. I'm not saying like rip it, but like use that as the temp music.
Yeah.
And then if you ended up having like a little motif, like the fact that fucking Gear 5's ended up using like a version of Overtaken and kind of twisted it to make Overtaken indirectly like the Nika theme almost. It's like
it's genius.
fucking mind blowing.
It's genius. Like
yeah,
it's just genius.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
it's goated shit. Like,
it's goated. It's
it's goat shit.
it's Goda. It's
It is Goda. It is
But
not
it's-
Hakta. It is Goda.
it's not Hakta, but it's that was like the most disappointing. Like it's like
Yeah.
the most generic action soundtrack. Like I felt I was
Yeah.
watching like the Mark Wahlberg Uncharted movie or something. That's the type of music it was in.
Yeah.
I'm like
I-
This is a One
I did
Piece,
think
bro.
I did think I understand the idea, the importance of having a main theme that's iconic. You know, I've seen every frame of painting's last video. I've seen that.
Rest
you
in
know,
peace. Rest in peace.
dude
Yeah.
changed that whole like. He actually, it seemed like he had an impact on the fucking MCU. Like the actual
Seriously.
because that last video was like, hey guys, you don't have a main theme. Like you have one, but you haven't been using it. And like ever since that video,
Yeah.
they went
They did
hard
it.
on it,
They
and
did
now
it, yeah.
they did it, and everyone knows it. It's like, wow, he actually fucking made a difference. Like a video essay, it felt like a video essay made a fucking difference. It was incredible. But no, like I get the importance of having a a main theme, but they used it way too much in this one.
Oh, it was rough.
It was so overbearing.
It was bad. It was bad. Straight
Man.
up. I thought that. Yeah. The first time they used it, I was like, ugh. And if you guys wanted to see,
you didn't like it from the start.
I didn't, well, yeah, I don't know.
Damn.
We watched the first episode on Milk. You guys
Yeah.
should probably watch it.
Thank you so much for having me on that video.
Yeah, it was really fun to have Shaves on.
That was really funny.
It was interesting just seeing like he sounds too British. Is this supposed to be Gold
Dude,
Roger?
Jesus Christ.
Dude, you're nitpicking. You're nitpicking. It's begun. Oh, British.
I don't want British people in my One Piece. Me being the hater, and then
Yeah,
everyone
and,
else
like
trying.
immediately, like, I was like counting after you, and Eden and Core were kind of like in the crossfire.
Okay, I don't like Shanks, bro. I don't like Shanks.
Give him a second. He was on screen for a second.
I can't stand the way he looks. It looks like Markiplier.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
In the middle
me
of
and
it.
James were eating at each other's throats. It was interesting just seeing that. It was interesting that initial reaction with you, but it's the people like it's obviously like the people around me that I watched like the rest of it with like
Right.
my roommate also hates the live action probably more than me. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
like it's like not
Great environment to not
Probably
enjoy
not
the
the-
show.
no, it's like I pause it to fucking shit on it, and then he shits on it more, and it's like okay.
right.
Yeah. it's
Oh
like-
yeah.
But
That's
to
gonna
be
do it.
honest, I think I've supported the live action more than most fans. I'll
Yeah,
send you some
I
pictures
bet
to put
that.
in the podcast.
I believe
Because
that.
in Japan, they had live action One Piece merchandise,
Ooh.
and I bought a One Piece Luffy fridge magnet and like several stickers that I've hung around my apartment.
Damn, man, you're more of a fan than me.
So now whenever I open my fridge, I just see terrifying live action Luffy smiling at my bitch ass.
I love that you can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
can't
funny.
escape it. So it's just like, I've definitely supported it more than most. So
That's so funny.
what can I say?
Yeah, but we were just like in such this like, kind of this pickle with this live action thing because we wanted a guest on, but then it's like, okay, so who do we get as a guest? Where it's like, because the elephant in the room is this live action. Do we get someone that likes it or doesn't like it? And it ends up being like a two-way argument, like whatever. And then I'm like, what if we had two guests? One that didn't like the one live action and one who did.
It's just
It's a
just a
2v2.
debate. It just becomes a debate.
Right. Is
Ugh.
the One Piece live action overrated?
Yeah, that would be
Oh,
interesting.
God.
It would be ultimately, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for something like that.
I kind of don't need to.
That
That's
would get
okay.
real. That would get too
I
real.
will.
I think.
I will say I will eat my hat about getting a season 2. I can't believe they're getting a season 2.
It's insane.
That's so crazy.
They don't deserve Jamie Lee Curtis. Like this is gonna hurt me because I know she's
We'll
gonna
see.
kill it. She's
We'll
gonna
see.
kill it.
They're right. Well,
she's gonna kill it. Like, she's an amazing actress.
She's gonna kill it, and then we have to see how Chopper does. I love that Oda
It's gonna be
drew
fun.
for the latest volume that came out. I think it was like 105 or 107. I don't know. It was the one with Garp on the cover. Oda's illustration for that one is the one he did of the live action Chopper. Is like, this is what it's gonna look like. It's just fucking stupid looking live action Chopper.
Oh
It's
my
so
god, he drew
fucking-
it. I didn't even see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I have to go
I
find it. Hold
haven't
on.
seen it. He's making bread off this. Like you gotta.
Oh,
my boy is
dude.
making bread.
Dude,
off this. It
are
is.
you kidding?
I respect his hustle. You know.
But also, just like he loved the process. He seemed like it was a really additive, valuable thing. Yeah, this is what he. No.
No, he didn't.
It's so funny. It's like,
No.
whoa, ain't that awesome? Everyone in the cast, please don't forget about me, okay?
That's not real, is it? That can't be real.
No, he was so happy. Good for him, man.
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, but
That's-
it's really funny.
I can't. That can't be Chopper. That can't. It's not.
He's so
It's gonna
funny,
be like Jamie
bro.
Lee Curtis like killing the acting performance. Like
Yeah.
like what she did
Yeah.
in season 2 of The Bear. Like
Oh no.
gave me fucking chills. Like she
Let's go.
amazing actress.
Yeah,
She
I really like her a lot.
She pulling
Very
up
happy
to-
she's an Oscar winner now.
Yeah, I know it's great. Why she's what they don't deserve
Yeah,
her,
she's
man.
gonna- yeah,
they don't
oh.
deserve her.
Yeah,
gonna-
but like
Oh my God.
I'm surprised, and it is just theory. People were like also speculating like, oh, they could do it in like 13 seasons and catch up. I'm like, that's gonna be awful.
That would suck. Yeah.
That's just gonna be so. Ugh, I don't know, because yeah, I do think like Berthier is still one of my favorite arcs. After being caught up now, Berthier means a lot to me.
It's
It
great.
really was like, I think it's what really put it into my favorites to begin with, and then it was just like, wow, I'm really in for it. This is gonna fucking destroy me, because I hadn't
Yeah.
even heard of that arc. Like I actually did not. I had heard of Arlong, I had heard of Water 7, I had heard of Alabasta, but this was one that like I didn't know about really, or it didn't have that full like context of.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that blew me away, because it was. Then I'm like, oh my god, what are these other arcs going to be like? Thriller Bark, Impel Down, Amazon Lily, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Jaya, oh my god, Jaya, holy shit.
Yeah, it's just like if they're gonna do what they did with Baratier for so many of these other arcs, I don't know if I could stick through it. Like,
Yeah.
like what? Like they'll probably do they'll probably just skip Little Garden. They'll skip they'll
I
most
don't
likely
know.
just skip a lot of these arcs.
I don't
in
know what they'll
between.
do. Yeah, or like they have to kind of like reinvent some shit, and like obviously it's important. It's nice that Oda is there to help, although I don't know how much time he's going to be able to devote it now that he's really neck deep in Final Saga now.
It's insane.
You know,
the final
I mean,
saga.
he had been working on this for years before that point, but like this is really go time. For
Yeah,
him
I
with
just
this
assume
section.
maybe a lot of the breaks he's been taking as of recently, like
Right.
maybe he's helping.
Well,
more.
taking traveling too, but
Yeah.
this was actually and this stretch of chapters since we last talked. The last chapter that came out when we talked was 1089, which was the one with like it was right when York had been captured. Like it was revealed that the Straw Hats totally bodied York. Like when it
Okay.
cuts
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it cuts back to Egghead.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a
Um,
good panel. I remember that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Good ass panel.
And then this one of the latest chapters from this stretch was the first. Apparently, it was the first time that he submitted an unfinished manuscript for a chapter.
One of those chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, 1098, which was
Which is like a heart wrenching chapter. It was like,
yeah,
dude, I fucking teared up. It was like a
yeah.
and it was unfinished. Like,
Well, you know, manga is an inferior medium, so I didn't tear up, but it was very. It was very.
Bitch
And I have proof because these. I forget which chapter I started this with, but recently, ever since the chapter has been when a chapter releases, I record myself reading it. I've not been posting it or like doing it. I've been wanting to do like the live stream something or other. I don't know, but like I like the routine I have now, where the chapter comes out, I record my reaction to it, just keep it to myself. Recon reacts to it a couple hours later, so I get to react to it, and then the episode comes out like 2 or 3 days later. I stay up till like 10 or 11 to watch that, and then Roger comes out with his reaction for the chapter and the official translation, which by the way, TCB just kills it every time, and I am starting to think that the official translator like reads TCB just to be like, oh, I better not use their translation. Oh, I better use different fucking words.
there was there was one TCB translation recently that I was kind of confused about. That
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about. Just like
Yeah, what are we thinking?
with the recent Kuma chapters. Like there's the
Uh-huh.
whole Kuma backstory. Amazing.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
Top
Top
5
five.
backstory.
Top
oh
5.
my god. Oh my god.
Jeez
I'm
Louise.
crying.
That's
Bro,
gonna.
why is it so heavy? It's so good.
Oh man.
It's so good. But the there's the CP0 person
Oh,
who's
Alpha?
looking at how what it like the way it was translated. They said translate it pronounced
It's
like
pronounced Arufa.
Alufa. So I'm like that kind of sounds like Khalifa.
It does. No, that's what I was.
So I'm
exactly
like, is
thinking.
it just Khalifa? And they
I think so.
mistranslated? Like it just
No.
it's just Khalifa. Like it looks
I think
exactly
it's
like
her.
right?
I think it's her under an alias.
Okay.
Because
that
she's
makes-
a
that
fucking
makes sense.
because she's a secret agent. She's like, I'm a nurse. They're not even supposed to know that she's a government agent.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no different from when she was a secretary. Although there is some wonkiness with the timeline, I guess. Because I don't quite understand at what point does Bonnie I think they said like it was like 1 year before, like 3 years ago or something like that. So it's 1 year before the start of the story.
Yeah.
But it's a little funky with the passage of time. Like how much time does it take Luffy and his crew to do all their traveling? How long did it take all that?
Yeah.
It might have been like less than a year or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was that.
It's never really like specified inherently.
No,
I feel like that's
exactly.
that's like gives him more room to do stuff like this.
At the very least, he hadn't set sail yet. I don't know how much time, because like in that latest that chapter, it starts with Kuma seeing Luffy.
Yeah, he's like.
So I don't know if that's in the same time as Bonnie leaving.
Yeah, it's him at like 16, right? Yeah, a year before.
Yeah,
he's
it says he's
17.
16 and he
Yeah.
leaves when he's 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will also say that it's a little funky with the timeline, because Vegapunk in that chapter is saying you have about a year until your consciousness is just completely gone. And it's really interesting that would mean that he probably lost his consciousness by the time Thriller Bark happens. But like he clearly still has some consciousness.
He
in
definitely
him,
does, yeah.
you know, with
Uh-huh.
having the observations that he makes and then doing what he does on Sabo.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
And even just throughout the 2 years, like how did he set that mission to himself where like the government just kind of let him guard the Sunny for 2 years?
Yeah.
Like how does he just stay there? You know, there's just
Yeah.
there's still mystery to that.
There's still some mystery. I hope maybe they explain it. I hope.
Obviously they still haven't shown him extracting his memory before. I would imagine he extracted all those memories, and that's what Bonnie saw in Egghead. They still haven't given that moment of when he does that, or like in what context.
Yeah, so maybe it's like there's a little bit left, that teeny bit, because it lasts a while. Like he meets up with
Yeah.
Zoro, he has like a little bit of consciousness left. Like
Right.
maybe Vegapunk gives him like that emotional intelligence or something.
Or it's his Buccaneer thing. Or it's just something to do with his blood, which, you know, I know Nate has I did peek at his reaction to 1100 because I wanted to see his what he thought about
What's he-
the end of the chapter with like Kuma sailing towards Windmill Village.
Uh-huh.
God, he is so black-pilled, bro. He's so screwed. He's so screwed because
That's
he hates Nika, like intrinsically, and now every chapter's about Nika, right? So he,
yeah.
poor guy, and obviously he's been struggling because he also hates hockey.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
tough.
like he's really screwed, bro.
That
I don't know
sucks.
what
Like,
to say. I don't know what else to say. He's totally lost the plot.
No, like I think I'm the hater for hating the live action, but I still
You
really
can't.
love
Can
the
you
manga,
imagine?
so-
Right? Can you
Yeah.
imagine? No, but like, what was he thinking? I forgot what I was bringing that up
Yeah,
for.
I think I have to reread the latest chapter because I think I was confused near the end. They're talking about like Bonnie's like abilities and such. And
Well, it's not too different from what she had demonstrated on Egghead. She does kind of turn into this bigger, like a grunt, bigger person. Like she can just change her body and age.
yeah,
I think.
it's really
you know?
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like she can.
I don't
change
think
the, like,
it's
size
yeah.
of her body and stuff.
Right.
Because I initially just thought it was age, but it's like
Yeah, I think we all initially thought it was
yeah,
age.
it's just
right.
like. Yeah, I think it's just I was confused just because it wasn't like inherently explained to me, like spoon fed to my brain. So I was just like,
Or- yeah.
wait, is that why is her arm striped? Is she Luffy? And I'm like, no, she's not Luffy. Like, what the fuck am I? What is my brain saying to me?
I think that was a coincidence of him
Yeah.
for having the big arm, kind of looking
Yeah.
like Luffy. But I didn't necessarily make that connection. Oh, she's like Nika, or she's. I know Recon when he saw that panel, he's like she's Nakama. That she's probably going to be part of the Straw Hats or something.
No, I'll shoot myself. Like, if she I don't know. Like, I don't hate her. I think she's
Right.
You know, I like the backstory. I think I don't think she should join.
No, I don't. Well, I don't necessarily think so either. Only
Yeah.
because, because it's like, what's the reason, right? The
Yeah.
thing is, ultimately, it's like, Luffy's never said no to someone joining the crew.
Uh-huh.
Never.
Exactly.
It doesn't, and there's parts where he wants someone to join his crew and they don't, like Yamato in this latest episode. Actually, they adapted that page where he's like, "Oh, come on," and she's like, "Nah, I gotta stay." I'm sorry, Yamato is she. Sorry, no, but the reason people are saying that is her connection with Nika, but none of the crew know that.
Yeah, none
of the crew. The closest one that knows anything about Nika is Jinbei. And he has not connected the dots yet.
Yeah.
About Luffy being Nika.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like something they're gonna figure out probably in this upcoming arc, like something.
Oh yeah,
like
they'll know something.
That.
They'll have to know something about it for sure.
I assume maybe this like experiment they did on her, like involved, like Kuma like admires Nika like so much.
Dude, he knows this latest chapter Kuma knows that Luffy is Nika because he knew that Nika had rubber-like properties.
Yeah.
And so and the thing is, the government is trying to keep Nika as secretive as possible. And that's what I was thinking with the Buccaneer thing. Oh, that was what I brought Nate up for earlier. He obviously hates the Buccaneer shit. That he's just like, oh, he's just a big guy. Like, oh, is this other guy a Buccaneer or whatever? Assuming that the Buccaneer is a descriptor for like, oh, Kuma's a bigger guy and has darker skin or something like that. But I think it has less to do with Kuma's physical attributes and more just to do with his lineage, like the people who know who Nika is. Who his father is passing down the knowledge of Nika, and he's going to say this, whatever. That is information that the government is trying very hard to suppress. And yeah, it's and that's another reason why Nate doesn't like it, because it's just like, well, yeah, we haven't heard of this till now. Yeah, no shit, because nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about this figure. It's in these like slight rumors. The government kind of knows, and then this like persecuted race, the Buccaneers know about it.
It's kept so hard under wraps. Yeah,
because that obviously has something to do with the Void Century. Nika Joy Boy is being described in these poneglyphs that the whole reason Robin is persecuted is because she can read them. They don't even want people to read these things that are talking about Joy Boy and all this stuff, And that's another thing. It's like Robin does it just because she knows about Joy Boy. That doesn't mean she's connecting it to, oh, that means Luffy is this new form of his is Nika is Joy Boy. The audience is really the only people that have made that connection in the entire story. Up till now, up to like Kuma, who we can assume has made that connection because he's seen Luffy, and that it gives him any reason why he saved them in the first place. Because we still don't know the full reason why he chose to do that.
Yeah, it's like we don't like. If we were revealed all this information, I just don't think it would be as engaging of a story. Like it's the mystery of it.
Right.
It just adds intrigue. Like
right.
I love a good mystery. It's all set up.
And rewatching Sabaody is insane because, like, knowing all of that, like that of what Kuma is doing, what he's gone through, it's such incredible storytelling because he's doing this very clearly benevolent thing, and obviously people have seen that ever since the time skip where Franky says he was trying to save us and trying to correct that, whatever. It's still incredible to rewatch that and how absolutely devastating it is for the Straw Hats for the perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they were really they were getting too deep. They were lucky in Water 7 and Eni's lobby, and they were way in over their head, and they almost got completely wiped out from Kizaru. Like it would have been over. He would have just taken them out.
He would have taken them out. He would have like killed them. Like
it was so over for them.
Yeah, it was so.
It was so over.
Yeah, but just even with that, like the new context of like what Kuma did before, like knowing like how he got we haven't fully like the backstory's still going.
Well,
but it's
it is for framing his powers as I am going to use this to save as many people as possible.
Yeah.
When you first see his appearance in Thriller Bark, his power is so intimidating because it can do all this weird shit that it's such an amorphous idea, and there's so much mystery to like what the fuck can he do? Heck, there was a long period of time where all we saw was him swiping at Perona. All we see is him swipe at Perona and she's gone. Yeah. And it's like, dude, what?
Like this dude raise people.
It's scary as fuck. And it seems invincible. You can't do shit to him. And he's a cyborg? What the fuck is going on? he's such an intimidating figure.
But he was just like underneath this terrifying power, and this cyborg is probably the nicest and character in all of One Piece.
Most Chad fucking dude.
He is like I don't think there is a good a
nicer guy.
A nicer guy in the entirety of One Piece. Like I feel like everyone else is like a little snarky. Like there is no ounce of snark on this guy. Like he is so morally good. Came from this like slave background, and like finally found like someone he loved, who's like kind of his sister, and it's kind of weird, but like they're in love. And then
it's not his sister.
Well, she calls him Big
the
Brother.
The same way Otama calls him like Aniki. I'll wait for the anime. This is why the anime is better, you guys.
It's
so
weird.
that we can hear the dialogue. We don't have to be like, what's the manga raw say? What does he say? What does she say? I've been so curious as to what Bonnie calls Kuma. Because it's always both TCB and official are translating it as daddy, but what is that in Japanese? Is it Papa, Tosan, Daddy? Like what is it? What is it?
Daddy,
father. I am so.
The dub's gonna
Faza.
The dub is gonna say my father Kuma. Like they're not even gonna do daddy or anything.
No,
like
give Funny some credit. I'm sorry. Rip Funny.
They're still going though.
Crunchyroll dubs.
Oh, is Crunchyroll dub it now?
Well, Funimation doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, Funimation dissolved. It's crazy. Yeah, like
they got their channels rebranded as. It's so funny. I was sub tangent. I was looking at Black Clover OP, and the first OP is uploaded by Crunchyroll dubs, but the watermark says Funimation on the video.
Dude, yeah. I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho. I was just rewatching the first couple episodes a couple months ago, and it was on Crunchyroll, and it has the old like Funimation. You should be watching. And I'm like, bro, they're gone. They're gone.
Crazy.
Corporate America got them, bro.
Crazy.
They fucking merged them. They merged them.
Yeah. I can't wait to say that to Aniplex.
Oh, yeah. Aniplex has such a... Why did these anime studios have such banger ones, and then Crunchyroll is the one that survives? With the most
that doesn't even have one. It doesn't even have one.
Yeah, it doesn't even have one.
I can't even think the one it has.
It's just the stupid eye logo crunching and whatever.
Oh, great.
It's so great. Yeah. You
cool.
seem so excited.
Amazing.
But yeah,
I'm sorry. One last thing about that, but like, so funny. Do you remember there was such a big deal about like Crunchyroll production? Like, wow, this anime was produced by Crunchyroll guys.
Yeah.
And now they don't fucking. They're probably still on the co-production. They're probably still in those committees, right? But they don't make a big deal. They don't sell it. It's not a selling point anymore.
I think High Guardian Spice killed it, to be honest. I think High Guardian Spice. I'm not gonna after like the backlash of that, man. Like
that was a mess.
It was a mess. Like it was a beautiful mess for me, but like for their company,
money.
Like, it was like good. It was like it launched Milk, but like it was like irreparable damage. Like
really
like
rough.
Releasing that, cause like it's not because they like what was it Tower of God. What was the other manga adaptation they co-produced? It was like a
God of High School.
God of High School. Like
there was another one. It was like a slice of life weird thing. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, they weren't like they were popular, but they weren't like there was
a lot of ad push behind them because
that's
what Crunchyroll did.
They weren't like super. It was. I feel like they were very mixed reception to both of those.
Yeah,
and it's not like either of them were very positive. And then it's like High Guardian Spice comes out, and it's like complete garbage. Everyone hates it. It's something like that.
L.
They took an L. Rest in peace. Even though it's not the worst thing ever made, but it's
not.
It's definitely not very
good. Well, the stipulation of like, we were giving you all of our money, so you can make this type of deal.
Like that.
We were giving you all of our money because we support anime. And this is what you make, kind of. That was a lot of the big backlash, really. Yeah. Although I think a lot of those people who were saying that weren't paying for Crunchyroll to begin with, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
I think it's a weird stance to take. I don't know.
It's dumb.
It's obviously like an original creative project. Like I think that is cool. That show came out. I like original stories, but
I am a little. I don't know how happy I am really about it. I'm a little happy because I just thought the discourse was just so obnoxious and like pointless and like a waste of breath. But just all this like fuss about Crunchyroll and all these companies and the belly aching about the U.S. distribution, fan subs and piracy, blah 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 blah. I feel like we haven't heard about that shit for a year now.
Yeah.
I think that discourse completely died.
It died, yeah. Well,
ever since Crunchyroll completely assumed, yep, they're the big corpo now, you know?
Yeah, ever since they consumed Funimation, it's like, what other choice do you have?
Yeah, and also it's just
what?
sort of like, who gives a shit at this point? If you're pirating or something, because they're owned by Sony, you know, they're not gonna collapse just because you pirate, blah blah blah. There was a more reasonable argument against piracy back when the market crashed and all these companies folded, and they could have survived maybe a little longer, or could have survived that drought or the hard economic times if the anime fans weren't so impatient to get the episode as soon as Japan got it.
Like that's it. Well,
You
that's
know?
how Crunchyroll cornered the market, right?
That's how they emerged for sure.
That's how they
Yeah.
that's how they came out on top, because they got it an hour after Japan. That's
That's how they solved it. That's pretty much how they solved it.
solved
And
it,
found a new path for it.
Yeah, that was the big, that's like the big selling point. I'm like, oh my, like whenever I first heard about it, like YouTube ad or something, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, an hour after Japan, I can watch it just like a Japanese person. That's awesome.
Right.
And then I bought Crunchyroll when I was like whatever, like 15 or whatever. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then it's yeah, it's like,
Well, yeah, and then like, what's sad about it, I think I don't remember how I articulated it, but there's I sorry if this doesn't go anywhere. There's something lost now that we can watch at the same time as the Japanese, because this means we're caught up. This means that we are enjoying these titles at the same time, whereas in the 90s and 80s, or most of the 90s, we were just finding out about Akira 3 years after it had come out in Japan. So the marketing and the hype and the buzz, it's like us getting Your Name in like 2019. Or whatever films came out in 2020 that were like really big or whatever. I can't think of any right now. It's like us getting Premiere today. Like we all just suddenly discovered Premiere. We finally got Premiere or whatever. That's such a huge deal. So it would be an interesting contrast where we're just enjoying and embracing and finding all this new stuff back in the 90s and stuff, and it becomes more of a ethos and like a catalog of sorts. This is anime, here's like the 10 titles you should know type of deal. And we were inheriting that up through the 2010s before simulcasting, where you have these big bastions like, you should watch Bebop, you should watch Ava, you should watch Fullmetal Alchemist, you should watch yada yada yada. It's like big tentpole titles for the US. And Giga spoke about this, where there used to be this pantheon of sort of like the standards, and now there's nothing like that. And I think that's because that happened ever since simulcasting has kind of predominated the conversation. Now no one gives a shit about like a backlog, you know, just because Mike Discotheque, we announced that we are releasing Janko Chie, which is this slice of life anime from 1982 that was directed by Isao Takahata.
Whoa, really?
It was his
What
it
the
was his
fuck?
it was
That's
his
crazy.
last it was the last TV series he ever directed before co-founding Studio Ghibli.
That is really cool.
And it hasn't even been fan subbed. It was being worked on. It was really funny. It was sad, but it was funny that we were seeing this. There was the guys who subbed Chibi Maruko-chan, and they started on Janko Chie after I had already known that we licensed it. We had licensed it like a year ago or 2 years ago, like a long time ago, and we were finally getting around to it because they finished subbing it, because we were subbing it officially, like paying a translator to go through all 64 episodes or whatever. And these poor guys were on like episode 13 when we announced it, that we're like, we got all of it, and they're like, well, okay, fuck. It's like, shit, how do we tell them?
That's tough. Yeah, you can't. Because it's all like NDA and stuff. You're not gonna.
Not really. It was just more like, don't spoil the announcement. Because it's not going to be out for a while.
Yeah,
anyway,
it won't have the impact, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there's not much buzz around that because it's an old title. Like, that's cool. That's kind of neat.
Yeah,
but
it's
not like
interesting. Because I'm thinking like, that's cool. Isao Takahata's a genius. It seems interesting, but it's like the idea of watching like a slice of life from the 80s. I'm like, I have like
65 episodes.
Yeah,
like that, sure.
like
Never gonna watch
notions
it.
in my head. I'm
Right.
like, audio quality ain't gonna be there.
I can attest because I watched all 65 episodes because I was making a video essay to promote the show for us, and then couldn't go through. TMS didn't want. We just dropped it because the way I was making it and shit like that. I was name dropping other shit, and I was talking about like it has roots with. It's a predecessor. It's based on a manga. It's like a predecessor to Crayon Shin-chan, Yotsubato, and Maruko-chan. It came out before all those series, and it's kind of a precursor to those. And it's in great quality. It's in HD. I believe it was in stereo. It's
that's
good.
crazy. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and that was why I was hopefully making a video essay because it's a 65 episode slice of life in the 80s that we are translating all of. We paid someone to translate 65 episodes. And we're releasing it on Blu-ray, so like 4 discs in one release.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
it's kind of a pricey. We kind of sunk a lot of money into it for how many people are going to buy it? Hopefully enough. Hopefully that's cool. So because then we could do more. Because then it's like, oh, there's actually it's sustainable. We could actually keep doing titles like this. But because we're so much caught up with the zeitgeist, we're literally like same day and date with Japan, which has its own advantages. That's great. We don't have this conflict or whatever. But then that's just something we lost.
Yeah, it's like history. Yeah, it's like most people don't even think of it. Like they don't even like think of where like the inspirations of some of the new anime they're watching come from. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to think. Yeah. It's. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've been like more on like the '90s anime kick lately.
Nice.
Just like
that's great.
Just because I've been watching Utena, I was watching Yu Hakusho, and it's like there's something about like a corny, like campiness of it.
Yeah.
Of the style that like really appeals to me right now. I don't know why.
Hell yeah.
I feel like it's similar to One Piece in a way. To maybe bring it back to our One Piece podcast.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like
it drifted off there for a little bit.
We drifted off.
Apologies.
By physical media. But yeah, no, watching Utena has been really cool. Just like I think like 12 episodes in or something.
Yeah.
That show is really cool stylistically.
Definitely.
The soundtrack I think is that shit ain't no One Piece live action. Like that shit's good. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit's good.
I don't remember the composer for it, but I do remember the soundtrack is good for sure. The whole show is definitely well produced. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I kind of was in not the right headspace for it. I had the kind of wrong expectations. Mm-hmm. I had a little too lofty expectations for it, and it was a lot more formulaic than I was.
Yeah, it's super formulaic.
Than I was anticipating.
Yeah.
Because I had come off of, it was the last Ikuhara show I watched. I had already watched Penguin Drum, Yuri Kuma, which was my first one, which is a fucking wild one to start with. I don't know if Sarazanmai had come out by the time I watched Utena. I don't think so. But I had seen those other two, and neither of those were nearly as formulaic. They had some repetition and formula to them of sorts, but not like Utena.
Yeah, Utena, yeah.
And coming from the perspective of like, oh, he was trying to do something different from Sailor Moon and trying to like not be as repetitive and formulaic. That was just what was in my head, and it's not really like that. But I hope to rewatch it and have the better knowing the structure and how it flows that I'll enjoy it a lot more. Plus, I love the movie. I love the piss out of the movie.
I want to get to the movie too.
Oh my god.
It's very unique. I don't know. There's something about it because it is super formulaic. Like almost every episode flows the same.
Yeah.
But there's enough differences. Sometimes there was like one episode where like it was terrible. Like it was like I think the 4th episode of the show, actually bad episode. But everything else I think was great. Right. So far, just watching it like while you're partying at the gym, it's just I'm surprised I don't know how well something like that can hold up, and I feel like a lot of people should go back and watch old shit.
Definitely, definitely, because that's it's just gonna enrich their experience with anime, because it's just gonna keep you in the game for long. Because for those people who can just watch the seasonals and watch the mid shit, like good on you, like fucking amen.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that shit. That's
insane. But it has to be really special or something that I have a vested interest in. And a lot of people they broaden their horizons. They have other live action shows or video games or plenty of other media, especially after the pandemic, right? That there's all the more reason for them to give up on anime after a few years, and that's totally understandable. I think they might watch another, like a one here or there, and they're not like not anime fans, but like there is a cycle.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, I would say.
Yeah.
Like kind of watching one here and there,
Sure.
which is like, yeah, because I watch a lot of I watch a lot of shit. I watch a lot of shit.
Well, it's your job too.
It's also
That's
permanent.
that's your other
But
thing. It's part of your
even
job.
outside of that, I watch a lot of media. Like,
yeah.
I am a consumer, and it's
A consumer.
watch a lot of shows, and it's just like even like I think even like in like a general standpoint, just like I've been watching like Workaholics recently. This like older sitcom like from 10 years ago. It's like
Yeah.
going back and appreciating like what came before and like what could have inspired like recent stuff.
And even just finding a new favorite. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just be
I
like
like it.
enjoying, because the stuff is, a lot of media doesn't age as much as people think. You
Yeah,
know,
like,
oh, this is
seriously.
dated, right? Like that's such in people's heads.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of have to, it's because like a human experience isn't so different from 20 years ago as it is. Yeah, we have cell phones now, but like there's something that are different, but there's other things that like are so similar, even from stuff from like the 60s and stuff. Like, oh yeah, you can feel it's from a different time or whatever. But even just like, wow, they can experience. It's kind of dumb.
Wow, they
But
can
like, they can
feel
experience. They can feel emotions too.
That's crazy.
those,
It's almost like
those
that's art.
those
Yeah.
creatures back in the 60s, you know, from 50 years ago that are likely long dead. It's incredible. Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you
Yeah.
want to take it back to One Piece? Do you have a
I was
segue?
just thinking. So, a long time ago, I told you I had two theories that I wanted to share here,
Okay.
and I did share them on Craft Vindy and Numanji's podcast.
Okay.
That I gushed about One Piece for like 4 hours.
Oh shit.
It's a fun
I
time.
know.
Now, but and I won't make the same mistake what I did there, that I won't just tell you who they are about before telling you the theory.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so this first theory, it has pretty much already been debunked. I had come up with this theory. I had
Okay.
come up with this theory before this latest stretch of chapters where this character has been showing up a lot more, and we've learned a little bit more about him. But let's see how I. So
Okay,
I first
okay.
thought about this when I was just like perusing someone's live stream, and they were watching a lore video about rocks. And they're just talking about, you know, who is Rox D. Xebec.
For a second there, I literally was like, "You're like rocks, like the
Oh,
stone?"
talking about rocks.
I'm like, why is James breaking down fucking stones to
No,
me right now?
God damn it, that's funny.
It's a metamorphic rock, bro. He's learning the
No,
differences.
what, like Pika? Yeah.
Like Pika. Okay.
God.
All right.
No, but
Okay, but
no,
Rock,
Rox
okay.
Rox D.
Yeah, yeah.
Xebec, and
Yeah.
it's like, who is this guy? We still haven't figured him out, and they're just showing clips from the anime and some stuff from the manga of Sengoku's discussion with the Navy about rocks, which is kind of the first major time we hear about him and why he's important. And they're showing him off, and he has that classic silhouette of this wild spiky hair. They zoom him out, and he's standing next to Big Mom, Kaido, and he's really tiny compared to those guys. He's almost like a normal dude. He's like a normal-sized person. This is really interesting to me. I'm like, huh. And the other thing that Sengoku said is that Rox was a little different from just every other pirate because he was way more terrorist-like. He was a lot more against the government than other pirates were.
Okay,
He was very
okay.
explicitly anti-government.
All right. Following.
And so that was like, huh, really anti-government and kind of normal-sized. And okay, so the God Valley was 38 years ago. How old? And so I'm looking at ages.
I think I'm following you.
Yeah, I'm looking at ages, and I'm like, wait, Dragon would have been 17 during the
Yeah.
God Valley incident. That's about the same age as Luffy when he starts his journey. Could you imagine
Yeah.
if the leader of the Rocks Pirates was this like Luffy type of, you know, kind of age, and he's the band of all this other bigger pirates that are all trying to be like their guy or whatever. And so obviously since then we've seen the God Valley incident.
Yes.
Or at least a bit of it. And
bit of
Kraft also debunked my theory that it was confirmed somewhere else. Rock started his pirate crew 7 years before that. So Dragon would have to be 10 years old when he
Yeah,
started
yeah.
the Rocks Pirates.
Yeah. it makes it pretty unbelievable that like
Yeah.
Big Mom and Kaido would follow a 10-year-old.
Right. Or seven, or you say,
I do like that train of thought though. You're thinking of like this pirate.
because then it's like,
Yeah,
what does that imply? Because it's like, oh, what happened during God Valley incident that broke up the Rock's pirate crew, and what happened to Rox? Because everyone else is still alive.
Yeah,
what
everyone's
happened?
alive,
What happened
right?
to him?
Yeah.
And it would kind of flow that he tried being a pirate, and then kind of rechanged his strategy and became a revolutionary instead.
Interesting.
But it's also been revealed in the latest few chapters that Dragon has a history with being a former
Marine.
Marine.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was an admiral necessarily. He might be, because he has the wind. he may or may not have a devil fruit.
Yes, a devil, wind,
He's got
tornado,
something, wind or weather, storm,
weather,
something.
storm. Yeah.
Whatever he did in Loketown,
He's got the Wizard of Oz fruit and the Twister.
He's got something
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that was one theory I wanted to share, is the dragon being Xebec
cute.
would have been kind of interesting.
That would have been crazy. Like a 17-year-old leading.
Yeah.
17-year-old dragon leading Big Mom. And
Reading the
Kaido.
Rock's crew, right? Which, even
Yeah.
in that God Valley incident, you see that Rox is a very hands-off kind of leader. You don't
It's
see him
interesting.
in that.
Yeah.
It's everyone else going off in the God Valley incident, and you hear him, but he's not leading them in the same way. I'm so interested about Rox, as much as I am Blackbeard, who seems to have that connection to him.
Yeah.
It's interesting. He seems to be roughly the same age as Shanks. Now that we know what the thing with Fingerland being at the God Valley incident, I think there's a likelihood that Shanks was an infant there, and something happened that I think that's maybe where Roger got Shanks.
Yeah, potentially.
Something like that, because there's ever since the Fingerland thing with Garling and confirming that Shanks is from the Fingerland family, it's like, oh, he's a celestial dragon.
I didn't realize that. I guess I missed that when it was revealed.
Yeah, I think it was revealed not really directly. I think it was something like maybe during Film Red's promotional thing.
Oh, what the fuck?
Or one
Okay.
of the SBS. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of peripheral information.
Interesting.
One of those things.
Oh, okay. So he's probably a celestial.
think
that makes
so.
sense.
Yeah, because then it makes sense why he goes to the Gorosei. He's like, I need to talk to you about a certain pirate. Why is he able to just go up to them like that?
He a bit of a nepo baby. Like why?
That's a little-
why is Shanks? Why is why is he talking to them like this?
Isn't it interesting?
I just assumed because he was a strong boy, but
Well, also, and how is he able to just stop the Paramount War like that?
Yeah, like he's part of the bourgeoisie. Like he's the king.
He's a
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I
he's
think
like-
he's not just a dude.
He's not just
not
a dude,
just-
bro.
Not just any dude.
Yeah. He's one of the good ones, man. He's one of the good
Yeah.
ones.
Well, right. Well, that just makes it interesting. It's kind of like seeing where his prerogatives and where he's gonna land in this final conflict, because ultimately Luffy still needs to surpass him, and he
Yeah.
has stated wanting to claim the One Piece.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he's just gonna give it to Luffy.
Ah,
It's-
okay.
No. I
I want them to fight. That'd be cool.
I want them similar to Roger and Whitebeard. They have this mutual respect for each other, and then they just clash the way that
Yeah.
they do, and then afterwards everyone has a big party, for,
Yeah.
like sharing treasure and shit.
It's weird. I think we've talked about a lot of the podcast, just like who we think the final like antagonist or foe he's gonna fight.
How this goes, right?
Yeah, how it goes.
Because it's
like,
so close. It's
Yeah.
within a year. It's like 2 years from now.
What the final? You
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
At this pace?
Yeah.
Are you freaking
Oh, but dude,
high?
Dude, all we're
Dude,
dude, think all it is,
Bro,
all
no,
it is,
it
we're
ain't.
finishing Egghead like in the next 3 months.
You're high. We're not finishing Egghead for at least.
Are you
5
kidding?
months.
Are you
5
kidding?
months. Bitch.
Dude.
Okay, here's Oda be writing 2
What
chapters.
else are they gonna do?
He's writing 2 chapters, takes a week off. 2 chapters, week off.
Yeah, but like at the pace that it's moving,
I don't. Maybe I hope 3 months.
Because
I would like to go to
all
Elbaf.
their, because I think what happens here, I don't know what more has to happen. Where like, I hate to just kind of project the whole story or whatever, but like, it seems that once this flashback wraps up, Kuma teleports to Egghead. Where else is he teleporting to?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if it's somewhere else, but like, I would love Oda to circumvent anything that I'm about to say. I think Kuma takes down the Gorosei, Saturn, by some way, either the ancient robot that Luffy woke up. Probably that, because the Vega Force is down. Vegapunk and all them leave with that ancient robot. Kuma blows up with the Gorosei,
Yeah.
And there's other, but then and then they're just going to Elbath. I think it's
Yeah.
just Egghead, Elbath, Lodestar.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
You think?
Because, yeah, I mean,
I think
don't
Oda
know.
thinks that. Well, I just the
Right,
thing
Oda
is,
thinks it, right, and then he's just gonna,
Oda
yeah,
thinks that.
Okay.
And Oda, I don't know if you've read One Piece in the past couple of years, but
Ah!
Oda likes to do a flashback and then add like 60 different characters in every chapter. And like
He's been pretty good with that now. He's been pretty good with it with this chapter, with this flashback.
Yeah, this flashback he's been a little bit better.
I don't think he's invented any characters except Ginny.
Well, there's like the characters in the cities and stuff. Like there's like.
Come on.
But like.
Connie's been a character. Gyogo's been a character. They're just getting more.
Yeah. I
Alpha's
guess.
it's like Alpha and Ginny, and that's what's made this flashback so incredible. Is because it's all characters we know.
It's mostly characters we know. That's
right.
Yeah, that's definitely been nice. I just there's got to be some crazy events happening with the Giants, and I think that's gonna last a long.
Yeah.
Time. I think at least 5 more years. I genuinely don't think it.
I mean, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Obviously, it would be nice, but
right.
I just don't see him ending it.
I just mean it would be nice that it's 5 years because we get more One Piece.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
Right,
I want more
right,
One Piece as well.
right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I want it to last. I want it to last forever, so I never stop.
Right.
But
yeah,
I just don't see him ending it that fast. Like realistically, yeah, there could be 2 arcs left, but with how long Wano lasted itself,
sure.
I imagine they're just gonna get bigger from here.
Yeah, Wano I think was tough because he just added so many characters the way that he always does every arc. I think
Exactly,
that's
right?
a whole
And
cake
it's
Wano
like-
specifically.
He's got a it was like Dressrosa, Whole Cake, Wano. It's like this ever evolving cast, and it's I think he's slowly learning that he should split it up more.
Or to actually activate the characters he has created.
Yeah,
he's finally
exactly.
getting to Bonnie. He's finally getting to the Gorosei.
Yeah.
I think the only characters he's really he's finally getting to Vegapunk. And even him splitting Vegapunk into 6 characters where like, oh, I have so many ideas, right? Even just doing that, I think he's been very limited, very focused.
Very focused. He's definitely focused.
You know what I mean? He's not given every single Vegapunk a whole thing. You know, really the most he's given is like York and kinda Lilith.
Yeah.
But that's really it. But that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's good that he's going in this direction. Yeah, we've praised it like the recent One Piece. I think a lot.
Yeah.
Just because of how focused it is, and I'm excited to see where.
And
it
he's using a
goes.
lot of characters that we've known about for so long.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like no, all the events that are happening right now, I think are
The fucking
sick.
vice admirals of the Revolutionary Army, like fucking.
Yeah. They look.
the
The thumb guy's awesome, but like, why do we need all these fucking characters that I don't remember the names of? I'm like
It's
talking to
fine.
friends, and they're like, "Oh my god, yeah, Sigroff's such a cool character. Like, I'm so glad he." I'm like, "Who the
Like,
fuck
who
are
the
you talking
fuck?
about? What the
Right.
fuck are you like? I know Luffy.
Right.
That's my guy.
Ah!
I mess with him, but like,
Yeah.
why did they have to introduce like 80 different admirals and then like 5 different like sword members?
And again, I don't know if it really bothers me that much when going through One Piece, I was able to condition myself that if I didn't recognize a character, they're probably not that important.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know what
good
I mean?
thing.
I'm like, oh, I know Ace. No, wait a minute, that's important. That guy's important.
I'm just like, it's getting
Yeah.
to a point where it's like I'm not gonna know these characters by name, but I'll know their affiliation. Like I'll know their like wherever they're affiliated with. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy from the Revolutionaries. That's the guy from from Sword. That's the guy from the Blackbeard Pirates. Like
yeah,
I don't
that's
know
all.
their
I think
names.
that's good.
I
I'm
think that's
okay
good.
with
It's
that.
just like I like having like the One Piece names. Like he names
Right.
these characters like so goofy. Like I want to be able to know Jesus Burgess. You know, like you know what I mean?
Oh man, Jesus Virgin.
He's so creative, but has too many. The motherfucker has too many ideas.
Doc Q.
Docky Q, yeah. The sick
Turning
fruit.
Law into a girl. Thank you.
Thank you.
Best
That
character in One Piece.
That shit was fire. That shit was fire. Not gonna lie.
He knew
That
what he
par-
was doing.
That part of Punk Hazard's funny. Like, fuck you.
Oh, and I'm talking about Final Saga too. When Doc Q turns Law into a girl.
Oh, that fucking yeah, it did happen recently. Oh my.
Yeah.
See, so much shit happens I forget. Like that was
Right.
That was like 7 months ago.
That was a
And
while ago, yeah.
So I'm
I
like,
can't wait for the anime to just get there, you know. The anime, the last episode we watched, the episode that came out by the time we record this is Blackbeard invading Amazon Lily.
Ooh,
and
that's good.
Kobe's there, and they added a lot. They did flesh it out.
Ooh, cool.
Just kind of like some action and some more suspense and stuff like that. Because in the chapter, it just kind of it just kind of happens where it's like, oh shit, Blackbeard's already choking out Boa, and she's already frozen everybody. They kind of just like have that happen first. You know what I mean?
I think that's interesting, because it is really fast paced. Like that like Egghead specifically is so fast paced. I'm excited to see the anime like slow it down and like
or even
maybe
just indulge into like certain jokes and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think Egghead will probably be funnier.
Like I said, like there's so many jokes that Oda does in one panel that you kind of laugh like, you know, like when you read it, but then the anime kind of fleshes out into it's a whole thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I much prefer that. My roommate's a champ, man. He's not been reading the manga for like a year now.
That's fucked. I don't know how he does that.
He's been trying to be anime only. He's
psycho. Like he has self-control. Like what? That's crazy.
Yeah, he just thinking of something else. But I get to talk a little bit about One Piece, and he asks some questions that I can be vague about and everything.
Yeah, I would.
He's been spoiled to a couple things like Luffy versus Kizaru, which is great. I was so happy to see that run back. That was
so cool. That was definitely
great.
Super cathartic. Just seeing
it was encouraging too, in the way that like we know that Kizaru is no match for Gear 5, so it was great that Oda created a situation that they could fight without Kizaru just be like, I'm stronger than Kaido, I can take on Gear 5. Like, no, he can't.
No, he can't.
So he has a different mission, and Luffy's trying to stop Kizaru rather than Kizaru trying to get those kind of see those hands. Nope.
No, it's just not what's happening.
Yeah,
like
it's really
the different
smart.
concept. Very smart. It's almost like he's been writing it for like 20 years, man. Like,
oh yeah,
this guy is crazy.
But hey, I know people are like, you know, really out there to criticize it, and I don't know. It's a balance he's been able to do, because he's created such a complicated story. He should still get his flowers, even when he does something smart, because it's like, this is not easy to write. Yeah. I can't imagine, because you can think of all the even the thing that I said earlier about like trying to project where the story's going. He's gonna do the Oda thing where it's like, oh, of course that's what happens. Like when he in the end of 1100, where the last panel is him sailing up to the Windmill Village, and he's gonna see Luffy. It's like, oh my god, of course that's what happened. How else does Kuma know about Luffy?
Exactly right.
And it's just stuff you didn't think of.
I actually because I hadn't read the chapters until today, the past two.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot to read 1100 before I read 1101.
Oh!
So I was just
you
so
skipped a chapter?
I accidentally skipped chapters. I'm reading
Sheesh.
it, and I'm like, whoa, Bonnie's. I just assumed they skipped it. I'm like, oh, Bonnie's cured. Okay.
Oh, right, because it was moving so fast. It's like, oh, sure.
I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Okay.
Right.
I'm like, okay, interesting. Kuma's writing her letters. Interesting.
Oh,
I
my
followed
gosh.
it well enough, and I'm like,
right.
I'm like, shit.
That's so funny.
And then I read it, the chapter before. I'm like, oh my god, that makes it hit so much harder. There's so much more context for these letters.
Right.
I'm like, oh my god, it's heart wrenching. It's
yeah.
He really knows how to write tragedy really well.
He's good at it. As much as surprising, because it's like he's so good at comedy too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Such a good contrast, man. So good.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT. Fuck.
Definitely. So it is the idea of like in his pocket. I think I saw a tweet from years, like a year or two ago, and someone liked like my reply to it, where I was like, yeah, the recent material like Wano stuff, like he focuses a lot more on the overarching what's going on, the lore, the plot, the action, more so than these emotional moments like Luffy helped me, and like he hasn't had a moment like that. I think I commented something like that, which is not entirely accurate, really, because there's a lot of moments like that in Wano.
Yeah, dude, like I cried twice while reading Wano. It's like it's definitely like
it's all in there. It's just not in the same. It's not in the same framing as this flashback stuff.
Wano's completely different. Yeah, it's like, especially because I'm thinking of those moments where I was crying in One Piece. It's like the Yasui like death, and that's like before all of the action. Like
you know what got me? You know what got me about Yasui was way after, like way towards the end of Wano, when his daughter's writing on the lantern, and he's like, "What do you want to write on it? Like your wish or whatever."
Yeah, that shit hit.
And it flashes to like Yasuye, the scene of Yasuye, like why he ate the smile fruit, is because his daughter had eaten it, and
Yeah.
she's like crying and shit, and he's like, I'll eat it. Like that shit killed me, dude. I was like, I melted, bro.
Man, why do you
I
have to
can't,
write?
like-
He's such a good character, man. That shit hit. That shit hit.
Ah,
That shit
God,
hit too hard.
God, Lord.
I love that fucking manga, bro.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so
Jeez, every chapter's a blessing.
good. No,
Every chapter I read.
Are we getting another chapter this week?
He's taking a break next week.
And then it's like Christmas.
So
time.
I don't know if
Are we getting a holiday One Piece? Probably not.
because he's
I don't know.
skipping the 17th. There's still the 24th and the 31st.
Yeah.
Is a
Then maybe we
Sunday.
get maybe we get a chapter on like.
Because we won't get one this week. So then, like, quote unquote, next week's chapter that's supposed like officially drops the Sunday, like the 24th. TCB would get it like the 19th or 20th.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we get at least one more chapter, maybe even two, if he doesn't take a break.
That would
If
be
he doesn't
hype.
have like a holiday.
Which is he deserves a holiday. You can have. I don't give a shit. Oda.
Oh sure. Yeah. I mean, maybe this breaks a holiday. You know, because he's taking a break this week.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't know.
it's that we're getting very close to the end of this flashback. That's gonna be like one of the best of the fucking series, I think.
Yeah, it's.
Because the end of this, like, you really can assume that it's gonna end with him just teleporting right to Egghead, and it's him, Bonnie, Kizaru, Saturn, Vegapunk. They're all there at the same time.
Yeah, it's fucking.
And that's the first. And that's idea. Like, I imagine it's the
Very
first
good
time
setup,
Bonnie has seen
yeah.
her dad in all that time.
Yeah.
And he looks like that. You know, he looks the way he does.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I cannot.
It's like that's
That's
gonna
gonna
be
be
so. It's
way
it's
too
so
much.
well set up. Like.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't. I just like. I guess I just like didn't even think like Kizaru is there. Like, Kizaru is there. He was there when he like brought Vegapunk.
When they, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
people have been reading back Egghead like ever since Kizaru infiltrates, and he has all these quotes where he's like, "Oh, you've grown a lot, Bonnie. I didn't know kids grew that fast."
Yeah. No,
Because he knew her as a child,
Yeah.
and she still is one. I cannot wait for.
No, yeah. I was
For the
thinking
Straw
she was
Hats
a
to
child
find
for
out.
a while. It was
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
people knew because the way
Yeah.
Vegapunk was talking about her, and
kept
the way
calling
even
her a
Saturn,
little girl and
the way
stuff,
Saturn
like-
talked about her too.
Yeah, it was like.
But it'll be really funny to watch the Straw Hats find out.
Yeah, because they don't know. They have no fucking idea. They're clueless. They don't.
They're
They
like,
don't.
oh!
They're like, what? Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god, Sanji's gonna be like,
Oh, the allegations.
The
No.
Sanji allegations. He's about to
Right.
be locked up. He's about to be locked up for that.
No, it's fine, lady. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't
fine.
matter. She's
Doesn't
a
matter.
queen. She's a queen.
It's fine.
nonetheless.
I saved her. It doesn't matter. I'm a hero. Doesn't matter.
He's a
Nah,
hero.
but fucking about her joining and being like Nakama, you know.
Yeah.
It is kind of a matter of what she wants to do after this, because the whole
Yeah.
thing was her finding her father and going on a journey, which obviously I think she did just by being on that crew with getting her own bounty and shit. But at this point, you know, her crew is in Impel Down. They were
Yeah.
arrested. So does she want to break them out? But like, it kind of makes sense that she goes with Luffy and the rest of them, escape to Elbaf. You know.
Like, yeah. She can't escape on her own. Like like in this
Yeah, how does she-
situation.
where does she go
has
as she
to.
gets
She
out
has
of
to
there,
go with
right.
them. Like.
But the other thing I was thinking, and that's another thing I wasn't quite. There's two other things about upcoming shit that people have been talking about, whatever. The way Kizaru has just keeps being like, huh, you were a good guy, huh? Huh, you were like doing the Nika dance there, huh?
Yeah.
There's been people kind of speculating how Kazan starts neutral and turns evil. Akainu is kind of evil the whole time, becomes fleet admiral, etc.
Yeah.
But then, just to balance the three of them, if Kizaru starts as a bad guy, I think he has the opportunity. I think he has the bandwidth to turn
Yeah.
and kind of help the Straw Hats.
I think it could potentially happen. He's definitely way more malleable than like most of the other villains.
Yeah.
Like in the story, like he is.
Right. He's
His
very more
attitude, yeah.
He's very more ambiguous.
Yeah. His attitude is much more lax. It's like
Yeah.
he's there to do his job. Like that's what he's always like said and acted like. It's nothing personal. Like that's
Yeah.
what it always is. It's like, yeah,
Exactly.
I'm just here. I was sent here. This is what I gotta
Business,
do.
right?
Business
right.
is business.
There's no ego the way it is for like Lucci. There's
Yeah.
something the way Lucci operates where he is kind of like the government's dog or whatever, but like he's still kind of in it for him.
Yeah.
Where he's still in it for violence and to satisfy his own competitive desires. The fact that
he's
he's
so
just,
competitive. Yeah.
you know, if he was more in it for like the sake of the government, he wouldn't just be wasting his time fighting Zoro. You know, as soon as he tried to assassinate Vegapunk and failed, and then he clashes with Zoro, if he was actually secure in his mission the way Kizaru is, he'd just still be going for Vegapunk.
No.
But no, instead he just kind of like keeps going against.
He wants the revenge.
Because he,
like,
because he likes the smoke. He
Yeah.
wants the smoke, and he's gonna
Yeah.
get it from fucking Zoro. I love it.
Yeah, because it's that like ultimate destruction whenever Luffy like defeated all of them. Like that when the Straw Hats defeated them in his lobby, it's like he's got to redeem himself. It's this.
Yeah.
It's that it is driven by ego. And it's just like a lot of people can like dismiss One Piece, I guess, for like characters being like good and evil, but I feel like there's so much depth.
I don't know why
beneath
anyone would do that.
I'm
That's
just
a fucking
like,
story, bro.
I'm just like there's so much depth beneath that. It's like so I don't know. Come on. It's like a story. It's
Well,
like,
yeah, and it's just really really fun characters and stuff. And the other thing I was thinking about, that's the wrench in this, that like I don't know how this factors in. Maybe Egghead goes a little longer than we were expecting.
That's what I'm thinking.
But Blackbeard is on his way.
That's
I
what I'm
don't-
thinking, Shapes.
Not Blackbeard, but like someone from his crew. If not him, then I mean, there's certain I think it's the Piero guy. I forget what role
The
he
island
is.
guy?
No. So there's his crew is split up. His crew is in all
his
different
yeah,
places.
because he's on.
So like
I don't
he's
really-
on the Champion Island with Law. And
Yeah.
it's like him, Doc Q, and the sniper guy that are on that island with him. I think Jesus is there too.
Yeah.
And then Kiryu, island guy, the drunk guy. I think that's it. I think it's just and Kazan are all on Pirate Island on Hachinozu, and they were all
Uh-huh.
dealing with Garp and everything. So that leaves
the woman. What's the
the
woman?
woman, and
the woman. He's
the
one
woman.
on
Well,
screen.
yeah, well, yeah.
You got the baddie on
And
screen.
Mime guy. Do you remember like way earlier in the story? He was
Yeah.
one of the original Blackbeard
Yeah.
members, but he was like at the world. He was like at Mary Joa talking with the Navy or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
That guy.
he was like that guy. That
Okay.
guy and the super. I think actually, sorry, the giant guy, like the superhuman, stupidly huge guy. I think is also on Hachinozu.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I think he's still there.
So
Um,
some Blackbeard people are coming. So
Yeah,
it's
there's
like-
some Blackbeard ship heading to Egghead
Yeah, I remember that.
before
that
the Navy was. You know what I mean? So like, what happened? Yeah,
They're
are
probably
they
trying to
are they
sh-
there?
I think like in terms of like what's happened already in the story, like Jesus Bird just went to Dressrosa to try and get the devil fruit, right?
Yeah,
It-
to get
it might be
Sabas,
some-
to get Ace's fruit.
He might be trying to. Maybe some characters are trying to do something similar. Like they're always on the hunt for devil fruits.
Yeah.
It might be like a sneak attack sort of thing, since like, they, as you said, they started going there before the Navy.
Or at least I believe so. I'm pretty sure. There was a panel.
There was a
and that was-
panel, and then there was.
And it was like a whole day. It was actually like I remember like the night would happen, and that was when the Straw Hats were still dealing with the traitor and like who the fuck was fucking with them before they caught York. They were dealing with the Seraphims and shit like that. That was like a whole evening, and then like the next day the Gorosei call, and York's been captured, and that was the whole in between of like Garp's whole thing.
I think in terms of it, it'd probably be like a sneak attack sort of thing.
It has to be. That's how
It
they
has-
operate.
Yeah, it has.
That's
to
how
be
they do
some
things.
Some sleazy, disgusting thing.
Oh yeah,
Because maybe one of the
'cause they're real pirates, bro.
one of the Blackbeard pirates doesn't have a fruit yet or something.
Oh,
And they want to get a fruit.
I wonder.
Maybe potentially like Lucci or something.
Well, it's
Or-
always just like, what was Blackbeard going to do with Boa's fruit?
Yeah.
You know, what are the various plans that they have? And I think it's like, I think I saw Kraftwerk's video talking about this, where unlike Luffy, who like Blackbeard is Luffy's total opposite, as we know,
Yeah.
including the way that Luffy doesn't know shit. He doesn't care, and he's just kind of going about and forging his own path. Blackbeard knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. There can be new information, like obviously in this latest episode where he He learns about the PX, the new pacifistas that are seraphim. But he knows what a PX is. He's like, wait a minute, that's the black wings and dark skin and white hair. He recognizes what's going on. He knows all about these devil fruits. He knows something we don't know about how the fuck he was able to get Whitebeard's fruit, which is a chance, which was luck, which like it might not have even happened. He has the plans. He was also the one that, like, you know, we as the viewer got to learn that the last poneglyph is with some guy with the man who's marked by flames, I think is what it's translated to.
Okay.
And the only thing we know about him is that the ship that he's on can create whirlpools.
Ooh, the man marked by flames. Doesn't like Shanks have like a?
Well, he's got claw marks.
claw
But Blackbeard knows who Shanks is.
I guess.
Blackbeard doesn't know who the thing is that
Yeah.
it's a mystery. Blackbeard doesn't even know who that is. So if Blackbeard does it, there's a lot of people that do not. So it's kind of okay. You know, Kid is trying to look. I know Kid knows about him, is trying to look for him, and they know that that's the key to the last poneglyph. And that's, you know, that's what he's trying to do. So I'm just expecting that Blackbeard does have plans, or just an idea of why he's going to Egghead specifically. I don't know if Vegapunk was doing anything more with Devil Fruits after Punk Hazard, or if he had moved on to his other projects with...
The Void Century, yeah.
Well, with Void Century, yeah.
Yeah, the Void Century, you know, it could be something to do with that. It could be Robin.
True.
It could
True.
be...
Or just some hint towards finding the man marked by flames.
And then there's like the Weevil kid too. Like, that was set up, like...
I think the government captured him, or the Navy.
Okay.
I think the Navy. There was a. He was.
Did they capture him?
He was protecting Sphinx. He was protecting Sphinx from, I'm pretty sure, the Navy, because it was an unprotected area, kind of similar to Wano. And you see him being hauled off. And Miss Bucky and Stussie's original was talking about it, that they took her boy or whatever. And so it does seem likely that he really is Whitebeard's kid.
Which is really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, hell no fucking way. And then it's like, oh!
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that twist. That's like, nope, no, he is.
He is, yeah. He just
he just came out like that.
He just, I don't know how. Well, I guess Whitebeard's a fucking giant. Like, he's a fucking insane
Is he?
man.
I'm not sure.
Well, I just mean like he's a big guy.
Oh, sure, he is a big. But like actual, like
he's
from the
probably
Giants,
a giant.
right?
Like he's really big. Like why?
He is.
He's
yeah. Why is he
giant.
like that? Why is he like that?
Why is he like that? Is he a giant? Did he?
Similar with Kaido too, because Kaido's definitely not from Elbath. Big Mom's from Elbath, definitely.
Yeah, Big Mom.
But
yeah, some characters are just big.
Yeah.
Like Doflamingo is
like Pico.
Yeah, like Pika and Doflamingo are just big. Like Doflamingo's like
Big
7'9".
dudes. Yeah.
Like, he's like really tall and big. He's
Celestial
like,
Dragon type shit.
Like they're bigger than like most like NBA basketball players, and they're not a different like race. It's like
oh man,
it's just unexplained stuff. But
dude,
yeah,
it's cool though, because he makes him cooler.
Yeah, it does. It just makes it more intimidating too, because Luffy's like a 5'6" king, so it's kind of like it's kind of just. It's
he
hard
totally is a 5'6" king. Oh
it's
my
hard
God.
to fuck. So,
right.
but yeah, no, One Piece has been great. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
So the other theory, I actually already told you about it. I don't know if you remember.
No, you have to jog memory.
You're gonna remember as soon as I start talking.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure as you remember.
How do I go about this? So it was because I was watching a craft store video on Sanji and Zoro on the philosophy of never hitting a woman. And how Sanji will never hit a woman, and he actually stands by those principles, but Zoro also will never hit a woman. And that's because of something he has to overcome with Kuina. Because did you notice, fucking Crafts pointed this out to me, do you know Zoro's afraid of stairs? Do you notice he never ever goes upstairs? He avoids them. There's a moment in Eni's lobby where everyone goes up a flight of stairs and he intentionally goes the wrong way.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. He
'Cause
just
the
refuses
Kuina
to
fell
go
down the
upstairs because
stairs.
Kuina fell down the
Kuina
stairs.
fell down the stairs. That's like a detail I never.
Yeah, I didn't think of it either. I'm like, craps. What the fuck?
That's broken me.
What the
that makes-
fuck?
Yeah, because he got lost. Like, well, it's obviously like he got lost, but also
right, as a
he
sense of
could've
direction,
just-
whatever. But
he
it's,
could have just gone up the stairs, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm. Well, he could have just followed them, right? But he's like, He's never said it. But then, yeah, it's just like you think about it, he just doesn't go upstairs. Anyway, so it's like it made me think about that, where it's like, wow, Zoro. Everyone thinks Zoro's end goal is being the strongest swordsman and is to defeat Mihawk. But he also has this really significant character thing, where he has to overcome his trauma with Kuina and beating a woman, and fighting a woman. Well, I guess I just didn't have to quite say it like that, but do you know what? Defeating a woman in combat. Okay.
Okay, that's better. Defeating a woman. Zoro has to get over his trauma and start fucking beating up fucking women.
Hey, come on, man.
Oh,
well, yeah.
fuck.
So Kushina, whatever. But then I was like, how is he supposed to solve both of these problems? He has to both defeat Mihawk
Oh my
and
God.
Kuina, unless
Shut up. Shut up.
there's been several Devil Fruit users that can fuck with people's ages, and there's another Devil Fruit user that can change people's gender. It's interesting how Crocodile. There's this whole big theory about Crocodile having formerly been a woman because of Ivankov, and now he's a member of the Cross Guild with Mihawk. Huh.
Is the trans guild?
Wow. Interesting.
I remember now. Like it took
Yeah,
me until
right.
oh my God. So no.
Can you imagine? No, that's hysterical. No, right.
But
like, can you fucking imagine the everyone's minds would go kersplat,
yeah,
and
it's
you would never hear the end of it. That would be one of those like Snape kills Dumbledore fucking
yeah, like that moment.
level
Where-
spoilers,
like the Buggy reaction to
like
that.
yeah.
Like Buggy's reaction to finding out they both used to be women. Buggy's like, what?
right. Oh my God.
Oh my
But
God.
like the fucking it goes like what the One Piece is like the number one spoiler, and then number two is Shanks is a girl. Shanks is Kuina.
Oh my God.
Which like, because I never fucking suspected that she fell down the stairs bullshit. There's no way. You can't be serious. Oda.
But what's like the motive though, right? Like what's the
motive of her faking her death because
yeah.
she can't no matter how much she trains, she'll never be able to be the greatest
Yeah.
swordsman because she's a woman.
Because she's a woman and then she has to become a man to defeat Zoro.
If that was her logic back then, if you
But
think
it would
about
have
it,
to be someone like similar. How much older than Zoro was she? She's a couple years older. It was like Zoro was like, what was he, like 10 years?
he was a
old?
couple years younger than her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, sorry. Kuina
Right.
was a couple years older.
He was a
than
couple
him.
years. Yeah, he was a couple years older than him, and she died when he was still a kid.
Yeah.
So when you think of like another 5-7 years, and you think about the age difference from Mihawk and him. But again, the age fruit. There's at least 2 fruits that do that.
Uh-huh.
But it's obviously a stretch. It's obviously
Yeah.
ain't no way. There's obviously the
So it's,
Oda
you're saying
sketch.
Mihawk or Shanks? You said Shanks.
I'm saying Mihawk, dude. I'm not
You
saying
said-
fucking
You
Shanks.
said Shanks accidentally. Like
Oh,
a second
sorry.
ago.
Maybe
I was
maybe
like,
I did,
I'm
sorry.
like, what?
Maybe I did. Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's chill. It's chill.
Apologize.
I was like, wait.
No.
Okay.
no, I'm not thinking.
Yeah,
that.
the Mihawk thing. I just think it's weird. I think it's like.
Because the whole thing with Mihawk to
that
me,
would be crazy.
I think he's already settled it with Mihawk. How
Yeah.
did he lose his eye during the time skip? He trained with him that entire time.
Yeah.
Lost his eye. No one's asked about it, and he hasn't said anything about it.
That's what's fucking
What
crazy
happened
about it.
there?
Like,
Like,
can we? Yeah, what happened to him?
I really think they may have already figured it out. You know, but obviously he's still trying to get stronger and everything. But like, I have to tell you, you think about Zoro, he does not have Mihawk on his mind 24/7.
He doesn't.
He was obviously the reason where he made this oath to Luffy that he's never going to lose again. You know, and that was a really big deal to him. And being the greatest swordsman and everything. He is not training to beat Mihawk. He is training to be the greatest swordsman. No matter who that is, no matter who he's facing. I think I am on kind of Kraft's side where, like, ultimately, it's more important about him overcoming this thing with Kuina than it is overcoming Mihawk and being the greatest swordsman.
Well, I think it's like, well, they're kind of tied together, right?
In a way, sure.
Well, it's like because they both shared that dream, and he's fulfilling that dream.
He's doing it for her, right?
For her, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
yes.
It's kind of like intertwined. It's like that's the emotional element of that dream.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's him like proving to her that like he's never gonna give up. I don't think he has to fight a woman. I don't know.
Understandable.
I don't think.
No,
he
I get
oughta.
that.
I don't think he has to beat women. I think Zoro can go his whole life without beating a woman, and I'm proud of him for that.
Good for him.
I'm proud of him.
It was interesting the way Krabs frames it, where, you know, with his encounters with not Kuina,
Tashigi?
Tashigi, yeah, Tashigi in Loketown and in Impel, and in Thriller. God,
Alabasta.
no,
Punk Hazard.
Punk Hazard. Yes, thank you. God damn it, I keep mixing Punk Hazard, Thriller Bark, and Impel Down for some reason.
That's
they
weird.
just all sound the same to me.
Interesting.
And as well as Mona in
Mona?
Punk Hazard. The snow harpy, the snow
yeah.
harpy in
Oh
in
yeah,
Punk Hazard.
yeah. Was her name
Where
Mona?
I think so.
Her
Wasn't
name
it?
is not Mona. Her name is not Mona. There's no.
Monet. It's
Monet.
Monet. I was
Okay.
close.
You're close.
Fuck off. I was close.
But so it's pretty different. But you know.
Fuck off. I was close.
You were close. Okay, I'll give you that.
I was one letter off. Monet. I was one letter off.
But it sounds completely different. So that's why I was like, who the fuck's Mona?
Except it doesn't. Except. Fine. I was close.
Okay, continue. Yeah.
No, but the way her fight goes with Zoro as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hope we can figure out like a conclusion for him that's interesting. That isn't just him defeating Mihawk.
Right. I don't think it's gonna just.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
think
I
it boils down to that.
Yeah, I think it's just like a.
And I get also with
it's
people
probably like a
really wanting.
self-realization thing.
I get also people really wanting something with him after, I guess they were disappointed with what his output in Wano, which I wasn't really that disappointed by.
It just
I guess
like
maybe my expectations were set because I had heard so much about that like people were kind of let down by how Zoro. It looks like he's getting all this build up and like it's his arc, and it wasn't.
Well, it's like sword samurai guy. He has the Ryuma sword. Like
yeah,
we expect like.
he has a thing with Orochi and
Kawasaki.
Hiyori.
Kawasaki is not a character in One Piece. That's a
Komura.
motorcycle.
You were thinking Komurasaki.
Komurasaki.
Which is
Kawasaki's like a motorcycle or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think he gets good stuff in Wano.
No, he does.
He
He gets great stuff. It's just people wanted what Sanji got in Whole Cake.
Yeah, of course they did, because you know.
Sanji clears him, but you know, it's like we're not talking about comparing. But
yeah, we agree. We agree.
Sanji the goat.
Oh.
But it's like.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like he deserves. I think Zoro did deserve something, but.
They all do. I think for sure. We can talk about how
if there's no
X
Usopp
needs to
shit
know.
in Elbaf.
Oh my god! What do they do with him though? I don't know if this is how I don't know if I articulated it here, but like, what do they do with Usopp now?
Yeah, it's like
where does it? What do they like? Yeah, he gets the Elbaf. Then what?
Yeah,
what does he?
Right? Like,
what does he get?
Like, what does he do?
Yeah.
Because it feels like his character arc is like at a point of like.
It was completed in Eni's lobby.
Well, it's like the Dressrosa stuff as well. Like
it was a good moment. It was a good moment.
I feel like the Dressrosa, like I guess, continued upon that and kind of.
Yeah, it's a good. It is good material. It kind of showed that there can be more Usopp. There can be more stuff, good stuff for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know how wholly necessary it was compared to something like Waterset and Eni's, where there was that tension ever since he joined. He was kind of caring about Mary a lot more than Luffy was. And he did keep kind of talking on and on about this I'm the captain type thing, and there was a tension there, not like a serious one because Luffy doesn't give a shit. They know he's kidding or whatever.
Exactly.
But there really was that moment after Skypiea where they really beat Mary up, and he tried. He was really concerned about Mary through that whole part. So then that tension and the breakup completely made sense. Yeah. It was still shocking. It's still like a really profound moment, but it's like, yeah, this would happen eventually, and it just sucks that it came at the same time that that has to be retired. Robin's gone missing.
Yeah.
Their money got stolen, and like all this stuff stacks on top.
It's
why it's the best arc.
That's why it's the best arc.
That's why it cannot be topped, because there still hasn't been. I mean, Sabaody was incredible, but like,
yeah, it's hard.
The bottom fell out with Sabaody. The bottom fell out from under them really quick. Like they couldn't even process it.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a pivotal. Obviously, there's their breakup, but like it didn't psychologically affect them the way Water 7 did.
Yeah.
And also like galvanized them as a crew, where there was really like, is this the end of it? Mm-hmm. Are we really gonna keep praying and breaking up like this, and all this shit's happening?
I feel like there's more to do with the characters. I feel like he can expand on them. And it's like, I feel like for that to happen, it would have to be a smaller arc where it's like Elbaf is more contained than something like Wano, where it has like a million fucking characters everywhere. Yeah. It's a smaller...
Zoro's shit could not have happened in Wano. With
no,
everything else he was doing, it just didn't make sense. And that's why I was okay with the way it was going. Like, yeah, there's some cool stuff happening with Zoro, but you're not going to suddenly get the level of attention that Sanji was getting in Whole Cake. Sanji was the entire reason they went to Whole Cake.
Exactly, right. Yeah.
And it is something, like you're saying, a small arc that just throws this little thing like, hey, where did Brook go? Or like Franky chooses to do something that's like, wait, Franky, why did you do that? But it's tough because they are so rightfully in their pocket with Luffy. They are all 100% committed to the mission. There isn't any, I can't think of anything right now with their dynamic while being on Egghead, or even like between Wano and Egghead, that little bit there, which by the way, the next episode is going to be Luffy's Dream, which I'm so excited about because it's directed by Nagamine, who is the series director, as well as he's the kind of mostly the reason why Wano got as good as it looked.
Oh, nice.
It's the director of Dragon Ball Super Broly, has some also really good some episodes and stuff like that. He just recently did 1071.
Okay.
The Gear 5
Oh,
reveal.
fuck.
The Gear 5 reveal was him
as
the episode director.
The
he's incredible. So he's doing Luffy's Dream. I'm really excited. But like in that moment, right? I can't think of anything for any of the Straw Hats that are currently like they're giving some tension, some pause.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't think it would be amongst the crew. Like I don't think they would be sensing some tension.
It wouldn't come
the
from
crew.
them. It wouldn't be coming from them.
It would have to be an external thing to help them like
that splits, that kind of puts a wedge between them. They're like, hey, this other thing.
Yeah. I think it would have to be something like that, and I think that could happen on Elbaf, something like that.
It could even happen on Egghead potentially.
Yeah, who knows?
It still hasn't. We're still not sure.
I would be cool. Another like group like Straw Hat separation. Like I think it gives more time for all of them. Like
I'm not sure if it's gonna like. I'm not sure if he's gonna do something on the level of Dressrosa Whole Cake, where he splits the crew in half and does one arc here, one arc here, with half and half of the crew. Yeah. I think that was a good moment. I think that was a great storytelling device for that chunk of the story, because it really felt like you kind of had to do those two halves before you settle and go on to Wano and they reunite. That was like a great idea. I think they're gonna stay together for the rest of this, but it is just gonna be a matter of, like I said a long time ago when we found out about the Cross Guild. When we discovered that Mihawk was in this alliance with Buggy, one of the four emperors, and I think there's a safe assumption that all four emperors are going to be on the one island at the end, and it's just going to be like a final four showdown. That means Mihawk and Zoro are on the same island, and we have this idea of Mihawk and Zoro fighting. There could be something where Zoro at the beginning of the story said, if you ever get in my way of achieving my dream of becoming the greatest swordsman, that's when we're going to have a problem. And that has never happened. And Zoro has been the most loyal member in the entire story, start to finish. Never had barely any. The most you got was in Water 7, where he's like, if you bring Usopp back and he doesn't properly apologize, I'm leaving.
Yeah, he put
That
his
is
foot down.
That is the most we got, and that was the right thing for him to do as the vice captain. But he's been the best vice captain in the whole story.
Yeah.
As much as I love Rayleigh, as much as I love all the other vice captains, of course, like, they're all goated, but it's Zoro. You know,
He's him. Yeah.
He is him.
We get it.
Right, but like that is going to be. I want that Luffy Zoro actual schism for a brief moment, and it was just like, I actually can't do this without you.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that Luffy had with Sanji. As much
Yeah.
as I, you know, in memeing that like, oh, because they have a rivalry with Sanji and Zoro, we want the same thing for both of them, kind of have an evenness about them. I get that. And
But I feel like it's even more emotional.
it is,
Yeah.
but it would be
It's more.
yeah, it would be way more significant, I think. Even just that.
Like he has the choice of like helping Luffy fight Blackbeard or something,
right, or he gets
fighting
to
Mihawk. You know,
yeah,
it's
because
like,
if Mihawk's on their side
Yeah.
by this alliance or whatever, but he's like, I have to defeat Mihawk, even if that means there's a chance that we don't win, you know, without
Yeah,
Mihawk.
exactly.
You know, either we, you know, there's some kind of tension like that. I think there's
Yeah.
some decisions like that could happen. But I guess I think the members that I want the most to have something like on that level is Franky and Chopper.
yeah, I
Those
feel you.
those two more than any other character. I think Brooks got plenty. He's had so many clutch moments, and he's got Laboon. You know, he'll be
Franky
fine.
definitely is like.
Yeah,
I think he's probably the least utilized, which is weird to say.
he is. Yeah,
Because
he's clutch.
Yeah, he's definitely clutch, and he's had like fun moments, like the Senior Pink fight. I think is like.
See, well, also Big Mom, like crashing into Big Mom.
Yeah.
And saving him from the Gorosei, even just in the few chapters, that's been great. He's just, you know, chewing him out. That's been
Yeah.
awesome. I get though that, like, you know, we're on Vegapunk's island. This is the perfect opportunity for him to have something with Vegapunk. There's something. I was happy that he went with Vegapunk to save Bonnie. You know, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's just there's no like emotional moments with it. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we can have these fun action clutch moments,
Right.
but we're looking for like I think what we're looking for is those big emotional climaxes like the Luffy Sanji fight or something. You know, it's like something
Already,
like
you know, the stuff that he
yeah.
got in Water 7.
or the character growth he got in the
Yeah.
arc he's introduced. Yeah.
Right. Or just learning more about him, I guess, because it's, you know, he's similar to a lot of the other Straw Hats where their origins aren't quite so are a little ambiguous.
Yeah.
Where did Rami come from? There's still a little
Yeah, pretty
unknowns.
ambiguous.
There's
Yeah.
also with like Usopp and Yasop, I think there's potential there.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw out the word potential. It's so bad. I hate the
There's potential there.
potential. The fucking potential man from JJK. There's this like meme going around with
Okay,
the
okay.
side characters Megami. He's like the secondary character next to the main character,
Yeah, I know.
and he
what
has
you mean.
like all this potential apparently. It's
Yeah,
really
well,
funny.
yeah, because he has like this overpowered thing that he never uses. Basically, that's the whole thing. But
Right.
One Piece is good. There's potential there for the story to evolve. I think. And
Yeah.
I think we could leave it at that.
Well,
see-
don't we all know it? Don't we all know it?
Don't we all? We can see you. We'll see you guys in like 6 months. When fucking Usopp dies.
Oh!
He cracked his skull. He cracked his egg head, and it concaved, and he died. And
Bro, something with what could Chopper get? I want Chopper to get something.
Chopper
but what?
needs a girlfriend, bro. Like, like
Interesting.
what's gonna happen? Chopper's gonna find a squirrel babe on Elbaf, and he's gonna fall
Yeah.
in love, and then he's gonna stay behind.
Oh, by the way, I know people. Now that I officially there was like no ambiguity with like there was a little vagueness for me between the anime and the manga and that blending. Now I'm definitely like, oh, I've read this chapter when it came out, and I'm watching the anime adapt it. But there was this period at like the end of Wano, and I remember people complaining that like Chopper didn't get to cure the people at Ebisu Town from the Smile shit.
Yeah.
Dude, he never found out. He never found out about that shit. He wasn't there when the other Straw Hats learned about it. He was helping jailbreak Luffy with Big Mom.
Weird.
So he helps cure the two different diseases that Queen unleashes, and he
Yeah.
has a great interaction with Queen about which is honestly it was okay, it was good, but it was the same exact shit with Caesar. It was the same exact conflict. Like you're a scientist, and you're using your your smarts for evil. How dare you? I'm gonna take it upon myself to do this shit.
Yeah.
But because Queen was in such a caliber, Chopper couldn't fucking take him. It had to be up to Sanji to take him. And so all that stuff went to Sanji, basically.
I think it would an interesting thing for Chopper, just like something I thought of, just like in Elbaf maybe they come across like a giant with like an incurable disease, and it's like destroying Chopper, and him learning that he can't save everyone. That could be a pretty big moment for him. In general,
I think Elbaf is a perfect opportunity, like right before, because that was like one of the earliest islands we were like, we want to go there someday. I think it's a perfect penultimate island before you really settle everything. I think that's the best chance for Oda to establish something for all of the Straw Hats to be like, how much longer are we going to be together? Because it's like once you find the One Piece, what happens?
Like this
then?
is something. Yeah, this is like something you found out so long ago. Like when they found Dory and Brogy, like
exactly
before they even met Chopper. Like
Chopper wasn't even there.
Like
for
Chopper
that
wasn't even in the crew. It was just the main five.
It was just
like,
the five, right?
So I like, especially for those five, I think it's just like cementing something.
For me, I was rereading. I was looking over Syrup Island again because One Piece live action cut the Usopp pirates, and I thought that was such a disappointing choice because you cut, I think, probably one of the most important foreshadowings. The way that 2-page spread looks, and he's crying, and as they proudly break up the pirates, break up the crew.
And he's breaking up the Usopp
Roger did the same thing. Shortly after finding the One Piece, they disbanded. So I think it only makes sense that at the end of One Piece, Luffy disbands the Straw Hat Pirates.
Yeah.
So I think Elbaf kind of is the opportunity where it's, I would hope, I don't know what prompts it, but like there is this thing about like, wait a minute, I'm nowhere close to finding the All Blue. How far along has Nami gotten in charting an entire map of the world?
Yeah.
There's certain goals that at least the fans have put on this pedestal and are so important or whatever, and maybe they've kind of criticized One Piece for not having any, even though it's not their story. They're all trying to help Luffy find the One Piece and become king of the pirates. He's their captain. But I think that Elbaf, or at least in this final saga, has to be an opportunity where they're like, okay, but like, what am I doing with my life? I can't be in this crew forever. I think a lot of Shonen Jump is about growing up and moving on and having this period, but then moving into adulthood, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity where they start to. There's these little one of my favorite series that Toei also created, Ojamacha Doremi. The last couple of episodes is the characters one by one finding out that for various reasons, they're not going to be graduating to middle school together. They're all going their separate ways because one of them, their parents reunited and she's going to move back. One of them's moving back to America. One of them's pursuing this other career. One of them's going to a different school. And so Doremi, is the main character, is just left by herself and not going to move on to middle school with any of them. So they're all going their separate ways, and that's kind of the way the series can kind of conclude itself, right? So I think there does have to be a moment like that with One Piece, and then it kind of ends with Luffy disbanding the pirates very emotionally.
Yeah. I think definitely
should be very peak. At least this was my perspective of what I would like.
I agree. I think it's definitely going to happen. Like, him disbanding the pirates.
Or maybe not. Maybe not. Oda's got the ending in mind. He's known this whole time, and so is so is the One Piece film red director.
Lucky fucking bitch.
I don't know how lucky he is. He's like, it's kind of a curse because now I can't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking evil. Not gonna lie.
It is pretty evil. Yeah.
It's
anyway.
like being like told the cure for cancer, and then like the government won't let you money. Like that's
yeah.
That's kind of fucked. All right.
Anyway, sorry to spoil all of One Piece for you guys. Till next time.
Bye. See you in 12 months.
Oh no! Maybe with a guest next time. Maybe no, we keep teasing it. It's not gonna happen. But
it's gonna happen.
It will happen this next time.
Next time it will happen 100%.
Okay. All right. Yo, peace.